Agri-entrepreneurs seem to be a new category of innovators that we're starting to see in the rural landscape, both in sub-Saharan Africa and in Asia. And what's interesting about them is that quite often they're both obviously interested in making money as entrepreneurs, but they're also recognizing that there's markets of poor people that they can both sell products to and buy products from. And one of the interesting things to me in particular is the way that entrepreneurs of this sort are starting to marshal different sets of ideas to come up with innovations which seem to have this property of being relevant for development as well as helping the entrepreneur make money. Their existence as a kind of pervasive force in the rural areas and the rural sector suggests that there may be a useful focus for capacity building into the future, looking at how research could be better linked to them, looking at how policy could respond to their needs, and looking at how the institutional environment around markets could help the development of this sort of sector. Well, of course, TechnoServe has a very long history of this in Africa, but it begs the great question, are entrepreneurs born or can you train them? My sense is that they probably emerge automatically in a self-organizing way. Some of the agri-entrepreneurs that we've been seeing are actually people who've taken a sort of conventional career path, maybe gone into IT and worked in the corporate sector, and have then come back and said, well, actually that's not for me. I want to have a business which is both socially responsible but also makes me a living. Well, I think the most important role that they have in putting research into use, what are entrepreneurs good at? They're good at identifying opportunities often driven by the market, but entrepreneurs are also good at marshalling ideas and people. So in a sense, they are performing what is now called the brokering role of pulling ideas and people and resources together to make that innovation actually happen. I don't know too much about that, but I think, part of this marshalling of people and resources is their ability to tap into sources of financing to help them do the things that they're doing. But as I say, I haven't got many details on that. Research into use, of course, is a very long story, but a number of things come out of that. One is that this distinction between research and into use, which we would call innovation, is a false distinction, and that what is actually required is research funds being made available to development initiatives so they can troubleshoot and support the innovation process. The other thing that has also come out, which kind of relates to the enterprise issues that I've just been talking about, is that there's an increasing blurring of this distinction between development and enterprise. Historically, these things have been seen as contradictory, but there's clearly a generation of entrepreneurs emerging who have developmental interests, and that's an opportunity for making better use of agricultural research and development. I think it continues to be a challenge, often quite difficult to identify them, the usual channels of supporting them through funding mechanisms. They're not familiar with that sort of approach. Those funds are often hogged, if you like, by the usual suspects. So I think much more effort is needed to understand where they sit in the landscape and what sort of capacity support can be brought to bear to help them access funds, make partnerships, and do the sort of connectivity work that's required around innovation. Equity funds may well be an opportunity to engage them. Again, I think there's probably some further work required to understand what the investment opportunities are in the rural sector and the investment opportunities associated with these sorts of entrepreneurs. But I don't see any reason why there shouldn't be opportunities for equity.